All right, everybody, welcome back to Cool Sports Chat, episode 28. Today we are going to talk about NFL free agency, day one of the legal tampering period. So, 2 more days till free agency actually starts. But as you know, we've had quite a day of deals, and it looks like today we got Bobby, we got Matt, and we got Shane. Shane, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going. Just getting home. Figured I had a few minutes, so I figured I'd pop in and hang out with you guys while I could for a few. Thanks for having me, though.
Oh, thanks for joining. So, how are you feeling about the Broncos off season so far?
I can feel better about it. I can feel better about it. I did see that they signed PJ Locke, which I guess is, or they re-signed him, I guess, which
Nope.
Mhm.
I'm happy about. But
Nope.
I seem to be of the unpopular opinion. I wish they would have kept Russ around. I wish they would have given him one more year. To be honest, I know that I didn't realize I've been getting a lot of hate on old Facebook the past couple days, but I think they should have given him one more season. To be perfectly honest, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, for the money they're paying him to be playing for Pittsburgh this year,
Why
uh,
not?
yeah,
We're
they
basically
might.
playing, we're basically paying the Steelers to have Russell Wilson at this point. You know, I think we were already paying him. Why not keep him? See what happens.
Right, Matt. Any thoughts on your Russell Wilson watch?
Let the celebration start. We just had to crack one open there, you know. No, I mean, I think it's going to be Betty. I think it's better for the city of Denver. There was already, a black cloud over Russell Wilson. Unfortunately, and Shane, you know it, Bob knows it. In Denver, they're a very you better be a good quarterback the very first
Get you
ball
out.
you throw, otherwise
You're
you're
out.
lynched. Look
Yep.
at Jake Plummer. Again, I bring up Jake Plummer because he's a perfect example. You look at the numbers he
Jake's a
put
hell of a
up,
quarterback too.
and I'm sorry, what?
Jake was a heck of a quarterback too. I liked him.
Yeah, he put up great numbers, and he got ran out of town. I'm glad that he got put up with it, and he gave the bird to the Bronco fans. Thank goodness for him for standing up for himself and for being what he knew he was. Russell Wilson's a little bit different. He's more egotistical type, all about me. I mean, after all, he is the one that single handedly beat the Broncos in Super Bowl 48 to give the Seahawks a Super Bowl win. I mean, it wasn't the defense at all, it was just him. But, I mean, he didn't stand a chance. Denver had already written him off. Even he could have come back and won the Super Bowl, and I think he still would have been out. Bronco fans are a very ruthless bunch of people, and you need to put up your very first play. So whatever incoming quarterback there is, whether it's JJ McCarthy or Bo Nix or whoever, be ready to be like the most anticipated quarterback that you better put up or get out type play.
Yeah, I agree with you, man, and I think that's kind of my biggest concern. I mean, like I said, I was rooting for Russ, but at the same time, I think if we would have given someone like Drew Lock more of a chance, things might have been a little bit differently. Not that Drew Lock was never, but I mean, look at Joe Flacco last season. Joe Flacco somehow ended up doing really great. I mean, so as much as I was rooting for Russ, I think that the Broncos fans, it's like we kind of need to
Behind your team.
a chance, not just a season or 2 seasons, or I guess Russ had three, but like give him an opportunity. I mean, a good opportunity, a decent. Have some patience, I guess is what I'm saying. You know.
Yeah, because the handful of quarterbacks that might be able to be decent out of the draft, I don't think any of them are going to come out and be CJ Stroud this year.
Oh
But the few that will be decent will be gone by pick 3.
yeah.
And I know everyone's like super high on JJ McCarthy. Watching the film, he's okay, but he doesn't really throw that much. I mean, he has less yardage per game than Russell Wilson. So, I mean, I don't know what. I mean, Bo Nix would probably be a better option. Michael Penix, I'm not too gung ho on watching film there. He mainly throws deep outs, like pretty much just Hail Marys every play. So that's not going to transfer. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting period. I have heard rumors of who Broncos are looking at quarterback options. I don't know if Bronco fans are going to be happy, but I have heard the names Sam Darnold
Yep.
and Zach Wilson being thrown around.
I don't want Darnold.
If I have to pick one of the two, I would take Wilson, honestly. But I'd rather not have either. That's just my opinion, though. I'd rather have Zach Wilson, I guess.
Right. Well, hey, you guys got a safety today to replace Justin Simmons,
Mm-hmm.
who was a cap casualty again because the Broncos were majorly over the cap. They've cut $50 million in cap, and they are still only 16 over the cap limit currently.
Yeah.
Before the deals today, not a good situation. A lot of signs are pointing to more big people leaving, but Brandon Jones comes over from Miami. Dan, who's our kind of expert with Miami, has seen a lot of eyes on, says he's aggressive, so maybe it'll fit Sean Payton's defense. I don't know. I want to get your guys' thoughts on Sean Payton, because everyone kind of heralds him as the next coming of the best coach ever, when in reality his record is worse than Mike McCarthy.
Dude, next coming. Give me a break. He's past his prime.
Yep.
And I'm going to speak as a Vikings fan. I dislike him. I think he's a dirty coach the way he teaches his players. I mean, there's no common sense is out the window with him. He's a hit the guy in the head, hit the guy wherever you can, make him drop the ball. So he doesn't play with player safety in mind, and not only the opposing team, for his own players' sake as well. Kareem Jackson could have seriously been injured on some of those hits too, where he leads with his head.
Yeah.
I mean, you leave your neck exposed, you can break your neck, you can crack your spine. I mean, there's a lot that potentially could happen when you make dirty hits the way some of these players have and the way they've been taught. I'm not a fan of Sean Payton.
Yeah, it seems like Matt and I, me and Matt are buds, but it seems like we don't agree on a lot of Broncos stuff. But on this one, I'm with Matt. I
am too.
I don't like Sean Payton.
No.
And haven't from the beginning. So I agree with you on that one, but
yeah, it'll be interesting how much time they give Sean Payton. Obviously, they paid him a lot of money. They're not in very good cap space. I mean, they're going to be paying Wilson 37 something this year and 40 something next year to not play. And
I think if he doesn't do good this season, I think he's ousted.
I mean, the Broncos will still be paying it. Oh, you mean Payton?
Payton will be ousted.
They'll still have to pay Payton too. That's the issue.
He's gone. I think if he doesn't do anything, I think he's gone at the end of the next season.
So if you guys are gonna possibly get rid of him next year, Bobby, then why take a rookie quarterback?
Yeah,
because then that stunts the development there.
Yep.
Shane, do you have any thoughts on that?
That's my whole problem. I feel like, everyone's like, yeah, the Broncos are in a rebuilding phase, and I get that, but we've been in a rebuilding phase for the past 8 seasons, and we keep cutting and running, and it's like, I don't like Sean Payton, and I kind of want to see him go, but at the same time, I do think at some point we got to kind of buckle down and stick with something and give it time, but I would not be upset if Sean Payton was gone. That would be one I'd be fine with.
Yep.
I agree with Keegan on this one. Peyton's around for the long haul. The Broncos are in a complete demolish mode right now. It's not even a rebuild. Now it is completely gut what was set up from previous, successors or whatever. I think the Broncos' biggest mistake in the past 2-3 years was bringing in Hackett as a head coach. I don't think he was ready, and I think the Broncos knew he wasn't ready. It was just their glorified hope that would be Aaron Rodgers coming to the Denver Broncos. They could have made right and got the right coach 2 years ago, as opposed to bringing in Hackett. I like Hackett as a person. He interviewed very well. He came across very well on his press conferences. He'll get another shot somewhere down the road. But I think the Broncos' biggest mistake over the past 2 years was bringing him in as a head coach. And now, Peyton's going to do his best. And you have to go, like I said, it's not even a rebuild now. Don't expect the Broncos to be a playoff team next year. They're not going to be. So don't get your hopes up. Like I was listening to another sports talk radio today, too. You can be a season ticket holder fan and be all pissed off all you want. Get rid of your tickets. There's still, I think they said 7,000 fans on the wait list that will happily take your place in line to get season tickets. So you Bronco fans are going to have to bear with this. This is going to be a probably 2-year process before you really see success out of this, or progress, yes. But you're going to have to be patient. This is a team that will probably finish in last place next year in the division. Like I said, I'm not pulling for that to happen. It's what's going to happen. If they get lucky and they ride a little bit, a winning streak, they're not going to get past anything in the playoffs. Baltimore is stronger than them. Kansas City is stronger than them. The Chargers, for a change, are stronger than the Broncos. The Raiders are stronger than the Broncos. The Dolphins are stronger. There's so many more teams that will knock your teeth out. So the Broncos, like I said, it's going to be a 2-year rebuild. Don't count on them going anywhere. And by then, you're going to have to be ready for another head coach. Like I said, Sean Payton's up there in age, and maybe he'll set them in the right position, and they might bring someone in to succeed him or somebody in the system already.
Yep.
Hey, good news for Bronco fans, though. Will Lutz, who originally was going to leave Denver and go to Jacksonville today, came back. He changed his mind. He decided he was coming back to Denver. So, Shane, your kicker's coming back. Are you happy with that?
I think that's one. I actually really, I don't. It's a weird thing. I like to keep track of kickers, and
that's kind of sucked.
What's that?
That's kind of sucked this year.
I would say, I'll be honest with you. I'm just gonna say I'm kind of indifferent on that decision. He's okay, and I'll hit him with an That's fine.
I would have brought back McManus or somebody like that.
I mean, if I could have McManus back, I would.
Yeah.
If I could have Prater back, I would. But
Yeah.
Well, the other big news from Denver this year, I guess the start of this year, outside of obviously Wilson and Simmons being gone, is the final trading of Jerry Jeudy to Cleveland for a low-round pick. Now, had they been smart and done it during the regular season last year, they probably could have got a 3 or 4, but they got 5 and 6. So, first off, I want to say Cleveland is a master at trading for wide receivers.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, they also got for a 5th. So, good on them. Sutton probably will be close behind, it sounds like, being traded away. But Tim Patrick's coming back, so hopefully he'll actually be able to play, being hurt the last 2 years.
Well, and I think Garrett Bowles is out, too.
For the love of God, keep him out of training camp. Just don't. Just keep him out of training camp, please.
Yeah, don't make him do any running or anything. Just
let him.
Just stand there and catch.
Do run laps or something. My goodness.
Right. Well, how are you feeling with Jeudy being gone? I mean, now it's going to be Mims and Patrick, and some quarterback. We don't know which quarterback right now. It's Stidham. It might still be Stidham. We'll find out next couple of days. But Shane, how are you feeling on the wide receiver watch?
I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see who we bring in. Like who else is going to play. I kind of wish we'd bring back Kendall Hinton, to be perfectly honest with you. That would make me happy. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. If we're going for people who are cheap, it could happen. I like Jeudy. I know he didn't play very well. I guess I should just say I was rooting for the guy, but Actually, let's see if I got this. I got this for Christmas. It's a Funko Pop signed by Jerry Judy. Where am I at here?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So I was pulling for the guy, you know. But I mean, I don't know. At this point, whatever.
Well, I think he'll do good in Cleveland.
Yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
doesn't have to be their number one. He can be number 2 or 3 because obviously they got Mark Cooper, they got Elijah Moore, they got a great running game with Ford and Chubb. So, biggest question there is quarterback. Can Deshaun Watson actually play good next year?
I think they should just put Joe Flacco back in.
Can he play at all?
Right. Well, it sounds like they might be looking at a Jameis Winston for backup in Cleveland, so that should be interesting there.
Yep.
No, yeah, not a huge reaction, so I'm going to take that as what it is. So,
I mean, he I don't know. He had that one good season, I feel like, and then after that, he's just kind of been a backup.
right.
I feel if we want JJ, I think we're going to have to go up to get him.
I don't
gonna
think
have-
so.
We won't. I don't think. If we don't, we might go defense the first pick
Because right now,
at 12.
the 1 and 2 quarterbacks are either going to be Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, I think, has a little bit more project on him than Jaden Daniels based on the film. I think those are the only 2 that can come in and actually kind of make a difference this year.
Yep.
3 will probably be Drake May, who I think is kind of like Zach Wilson, but we'll see. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. 4 is probably going to be what's his name? Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And then JJ McCarthy, and then I think anyone can get Michael Penix in the second round. I don't think he should be taken in the first.
No.
I think we're going to actually have the opposite a little bit. I think somebody's going to surprise us, and I think J.J. McCarthy is going to go within the first 10 picks.
It's going to be the Broncos moving up.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to get desperate. Maybe pull a trade, but I think something desperation type move happens. Penix is your strongest quarterback in the draft, but he's not your smartest. You know, he makes bad passes, overthrows a lot. And that's probably why his draft grade is going to go down. I do agree with you on that. I think he's going to be one of the last taken. But I think he's going to be a good quarterback at the second round for somebody. If you can coach him right and get him to make accurate passes, I think he's going to do really well in the league. A quarterback with arm strength is sometimes very beneficial.
And I think a quarterback that can be just as good as Penix, that you can probably get in the 4th or 5th round, is Spencer Rattler. He honestly can make better passes and more accurate passes. He's had a rough time, and he has had a lot of high expectations.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he had to move around a lot. But I think if you can get him in 4th or 5th round, I think he has a better shot than what Penix. I'm not a huge fan on Penix. I think I've dropped him out of my top 5 quarterback ranking. I might even take Russell Wilson over Michael Penix if that's saying something.
Who's I can't. I wish I could remember. I was reading about one of them. Who's one of the new rookies that maybe you guys know, maybe you don't. I can't remember, but one of them has a lot of like off-field antics as being someone.
Oh.
Like he's a good quarterback, but he's kind of like a shit person kind of thing. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Probably Caleb Williams. I mean, he wants ownership and a team. It's just not that he's a bad person. He's setting himself up for failure because he's thinking he's all that before he's even had a snap.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
that sounds right. That sounds
Caleb.
right.
It sounds like it's a lot less Caleb and more like Caleb's dad pushing
like
for a lot of
LaMelo
these
Ball's
things.
dad. It's
Yeah.
like some of these parents need to stay the heck out of the league. Where the
Sort
kids
of
need
like
to
an
stand up and be
OBJ.
like, hey, shut up. I'm the one that's going to be making the money. And if you want to see any of that, shut your mouth.
Yeah, I'm still on board with Bears should keep Justin Fields and trade back maybe to 2 or 3 and take Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. With the Bears not even attempting to make contact with teams about Justin Fields, it might be what's happening, but we'll have to wait and see.
Isn't the Bears, don't they have the 3rd overall and the 1st?
1st and 9th.
9th, okay. Yeah, they're going to have
Yeah.
to trade up if they want Harrison Jr.
Yeah, so I think
He's
if they
not a
can
top
trade back
5.
from one, because I think Caleb can be good. I think coming out this year he's going to struggle, and honestly, I kind of think it's going to be kind of like last year where Jaden Daniels has the better year, kind of like CJ Stroud did last year, being the second quarterback. So hey, anyone listening for fantasy advice, Jaden Daniels. We'll see where he goes. It honestly might be New England, which might be a good spot for him to go. Sounds like they'll be getting some wide receiver help here soon because it sounds like May will probably go to Washington, and I think May is going to be like Zach Wilson. I watched some of his game, and it is bad. I don't know how he's a first round quarterback. Like I don't know what people are watching. Maybe I'm watching the wrong games, but it's not good. So Broncos, do not take Drake May. Hey, so Matt, talking about quarterback news, a little bit of good last night. Russell Wilson decided not to even visit with Minnesota. He signed with Pittsburgh. So, hey, you got to go to bed and actually sleep kind of comfy last night.
Yeah, I had great sleep last night knowing that, man. My sleep was amazing. I was like, oh, I don't, that's one less stress off my plate. The next
God.
one was getting Cousins re-signed, but obviously that did not happen.
Yeah, and that's kind of something we've kind of been talking about all year. We kind of figured was going to happen. Especially, I think once the news broke that he was looking for houses in Atlanta last week, I think we kind of knew what was going to happen there. But
Well, yeah, and any of these players just like, oh, it's not true. It's not true. Like Russell Wilson saying his house wasn't on the market here in Denver when it was listed on Zillow as being on the market. It's like, you do realize we have social media or technology that shows us that you very well are selling your house.
right.
But yeah, no, same thing. As soon as I heard he was looking at houses, you knew it was time for a move on. And him and the Vikings just couldn't come on agreement on what that, hometown discount was going to be. To me, over the time, he's made plenty of money. I don't expect him to take a huge pay cut, but I was hoping he would have done something a little bit more special. But I'm hoping it's not a sign of things to come because we obviously still need a lockdown, Mr. Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing if we can get Diggs back, get a big threat going, and we get a good quarterback. You have Addison, Jefferson, Diggs. You got probably the most dynamic trio in the history of the NFL. But we need a quarterback now to replace him. And right now, word on the street is the Vikings are kicking the tires on Garoppolo, and I'm not too thrilled about that one. So they're looking for a temporary replacement until they find somebody. But I think we do go after either Bo Nix in the draft, or it does sound like the Vikings have a little bit of interest in McCarthy as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Hey, I mock draft the Vikings Penix in the second round, which I think would be good because then he doesn't have the pressure to start right away. I will say, I've heard some more names being shuffled for Minnesota. One similar to Denver is Sam Darnold. So apparently his status has blown up somehow. I don't know. He didn't really play a lot last year, obviously. Another one which could be interesting, Matt. I don't know how you feel about this. He hasn't played a ton. I think he's played 2.5 games. Trey Lance making a trade with Dallas maybe for a late round, 4th, 5th, maybe 6th round pick. How are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I don't think Trey Lance has ever gotten an opportunity to show what he's capable of. Obviously, the 49ers had high hopes for him, drafting him where they drafted him. But it's something that I think could very well be a potential. Just, if we can get him for the right price, a 5 or 6 would be nice. We're not giving up anything too bad because, as we all know, this isn't a very deep draft. You're not going to get a lot of starting players out of the top, or maybe out of the 3rd round, possibly, and then the rest are going to be guys sitting around for a little while. So, if we don't have to give up too much, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Right. Well, now, we'll see what they do with Jefferson. So far, he hasn't come out, said nothing, not like T. Higgins, who has requested a trade from Cincinnati. So we'll see what happens there. It doesn't seem like a trade market, though. I heard, Matt, Minnesota might have reached out to Cincinnati. So maybe they are trying to get another quarterback or a wide receiver. All right, so let's go around the league. Here we go. We got Brendan. And there's Brendan. What's up?
How much are you?
Good. We've just broken down the Broncos and the Vikings, and then a little bit about the drafts and my apparent dislike for Michael Penix, at least as a first round quarterback. I think you drafted him in the second or third. Let him sit. Eagles made a couple big moves. How are you feeling today?
Couple. What was the other one?
Well, first let's talk about their running back situation. They lost DeAndre Swift to the Bears early on, but they replaced him with Barkley. How are you feeling there?
I mean, if he stays healthy, it's a good thing. You know, like last year, I was saying, you know, we need a powerhouse running back. So, he's probably one of the better powerhouses. So,
Well, and your second one is the edge rusher Bryce Huff from the Jets. Obviously, you guys need a little bit more defensive help, so that's got to make you feel pretty good, especially with Fletcher Cox retiring.
well, and with, yeah, I think it's going to be good depth. I think with Cox retiring, it's a good opportunity for some of our younger guys to be able to step up and, you know, take over, show their full, true potentials. I don't know if it was all there yesterday or last year, especially with our first time defensive coordinator. So I think this year will be better with Fangio. So
Yeah, I will say the Bears signing of Swift I think is good. They definitely needed another running back. I was kind of hoping it was Josh Jacobs, and then I was also kind of not hoping it was Josh Jacobs because I never want to have too many people from the same team. So Josh Jacobs ended up going to Green Bay today, which was kind of a surprise signing, mainly because Green Bay usually doesn't do a lot. They usually build through the draft. So they made a couple signings there. Matt, do you have any feelings on Josh Jacobs in a division rival Green Bay?
I don't know on this one yet. Like I said, it's hard to say because right now we're still at the players who might not be as strong as they were, but if you come back and have good years, then it could be a good. I mean, like I said, it's always hard to say when you got guys who are coming off injuries who had really good years or vice versa. And you're just hoping for them to stay healthy and get going, you know.
Right. Well, you guys, it seems like too, have really aimed to bulk up your defense this year, Matt. You guys got edge rusher Jonathan, is it Grenard from Houston, who I think was one of the top quarterback pressurers last year. So that should make you guys feel good.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, defense is what we've been lacking for a little while. So getting some help there will help hopefully keep us in the games longer. I mean, as I believe the Vikings either are first or second in the most 1-point games in the last 2 years combined. You know, many wins. 2 years ago, we obviously won. I think it was like 8 or 9 of those 1-point games. We were like 9-0. This year we were almost exactly the opposite. We were like 3-6 in 1-point games. So a lot of 1-point games that are could have went the other way and definitely could have been a different team.
Right. Well, Brennan, another big thing for the Eagles was the exodus of Cowboys players. Quite a bit of their star players left. Tony Pollard being one of them. He went to Tennessee, so a big shakeup there. Derrick Henry still hasn't signed. Does look like he might be going to Dallas, but nothing coming out on that yet. Raiders signed defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. Big signing for their defense. Jaguars signed wide receiver Gabriel Davis, which is obviously going to replace Calvin Ridley, who's going to get a contract to be a starter somewhere else. And I think much well deserved. Obviously, he kind of got I think, the short end of the stick in Atlanta. So we'll see where he ends up. Hey, maybe he'll go back to Alabama. That'd be interesting. Let's see. Kirk Cousins, Barkley, we talked about. Rams signed Jonah Jackson, offensive guard from Detroit, and Colby Parkinson from Seattle, a tight end. Some pretty nice moves for the Rams. So let's see. Panthers signed offensive guard Robert Hunt from the Dolphins. Dolphins, like the Cowboys, a lot of exodus. So I know a lot of Miami fans are starting to feel a little bit worried. They were another team kind of bad in the cap. Packers signed safety Xavier McKinney. So another big help for them. Titans signing Broncos center Lloyd Cushenberry III.
Yeah.
Bobby, are you sad about that one at all?
It seems like everybody's, after Russell exited, it seems like everybody's exiting now, you know? It's a rebuild, you know?
I mean, the Broncos kind of have to. I mean,
Yeah,
cap
we have to
wise, they don't
rebuild.
have a lot of options.
We have to rebuild.
Hey, if they're bad enough this year, maybe they can get Sanders from Colorado next year.
Yeah. Shador Sanders, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Shane, would you be on board with that?
Honestly, no. I gotta be
No?
honest. I don't really dig the whole Sanders hype. If I'm being completely honest.
All right, so we got one no, one yes. Viewers, tell us in the comments below what side you're on. Are you Team Shane or Team Bobby? Tell us.
I feel like most people are gonna be Team Bob, but that's
Yeah.
all right.
Let's see. What other news? Raiders signed Gardner Minshew to be a quarterback. Obviously, an upgrade from what they had last year. And considering that they were pretty competitive, I think this is a good move. Matt, do you think this is a good move for them?
Yes, I do think the Raiders went a step in the right direction to get better. Like I said, they're going to be stronger than Denver this year, so anticipate that. But Minshew just seems to be that guy that just seems to win wherever he goes. He's got that weird knack that I'm drawing a blank right now. Who was the Eagles quarterback a couple of years ago that took him to that Super Bowl?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles, kind of like a Nick Foles type thing, but Foles eventually it caught up with him and he wasn't able to keep producing the wins. But Foles seemed to be that guy, good backup quarterback, could come in, win you the games, just couldn't be that starting guy.
Well, then one Bobby rival to another. The Chargers signed running back Gus Edwards. Obviously, they got to replace Austin Eckler, who signed with the Washington Commanders today. I don't know. I don't think it's much of a replacement. I think they will be probably looking at the draft, and it probably helps that a certain coach they just hired starting running back last year is entering the draft. So I don't know. I think that might be something to watch. I might be the only one. Am I the only one that thinks that or no?
Nope. I think there's a lot of potential that you see some Michigan players end up in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it even in free agency where coaches go. Usually their players try to go. Obviously, in drafting, it's a little bit different. But Commanders, Brendan, you obviously got Quinn out of Dallas, but he went to Washington, so still in the division. And he's taken 2 Dallas players so far. Edge Dorrance Armstrong Jr., right? Yeah. And then one of I think it was their safety, or not safety, their center they took as well. And then they also got linebacker Frankie Lavu from Carolina. Are you feeling more about Washington? I mean, I know they play well in division, so I guess you're kind of already worried about them a little bit, but
I mean, when it's in your division, you always have to be worried a little bit, but especially since even though they were so bad this year, in one of the guys, one of the games against them, they took Philly to, overtime and to the brink, and the other one, they held on close for a while until Philly was able to pull off a couple good plays and open up the scoring a little bit.
Right. Well, another of your division rivals, the Giants, traded a second-round pick and fifth-round pick to get edge Brian Burns from the Panthers. So Panthers still trying to do their rebuild. Still not a lot of help for Bryce Young. So we'll see what happens there. Trying to get to some more. Oh, another trade. Buccaneers traded cornerback Carlton Davis III to Detroit, which I think's something that Detroit will be good on. Obviously, Carlton, I think, struggled with some injuries, but they didn't really give up too much of a high capital as far as draft goes. So I think this is a buy low. You can definitely get higher later. So I think good move for Detroit. Maybe Matt doesn't feel the same way since it's a rival, but Matt, do you feel the same way?
No. Not at all.
Is it because it's Detroit?
Well, Detroit's a team to take more serious now. Like if they were still same old Detroit Lions, I'd be like, sure, whatever. But the Lions are becoming a very scary team, and the rebuild that they've gone through there is quite impressive. So I'm looking forward to see what they do in the division this upcoming year. We'll see what happens, you know.
Yeah. And then Patriots bringing in a quarterback, one that fans should know from New England, Jacoby Brissett, who's been a New England Patriot before. Obviously, probably just more of a kind of bridge, or who knows, maybe they'll roll with him for a year or two. It's kind of it. Let me make sure before I know Seattle brought back Leonard Williams as well as Noah Fant today, so Seattle kind of finally got in the stuff today. Bobby, what do you think Broncos be doing tomorrow?
We'll see. I think if I've got to say, I have to say, I think Sutton's gone probably tomorrow. The way he's talking.
Yeah, you think they're going to trade him?
Yeah, they got to do something. You know, he's not happy, so I think he's gone by tomorrow. Get something for him. You know.
And Shane said, have a good night. So he is out. But Shane, thank you for joining while you could. Giving some insight on the Broncos. Let's see. So it looks like former Chiefs punter Tommy Townsend is signing a 2-year, $6 million deal with the Houston Texans per Adam Schefter. So some special teams news going on. I don't know. It'll be interesting. That I think there's still quite. Oh wait, Buccaneers re-signing Chase Edmonds to a 1-year deal to bring back the running back. And there's still quite a bit of big names, I think, on the free agency pool. We saw Devin Singletary from Houston go to the Giants to fill their running back needs. So he's going to be a star there, and I think he proved he can be good in the right situations. Obviously, he knows Dable from his time in Buffalo, so should be good there. Matt, who do you think you guys are going for halfback? Because obviously you guys have a hole at halfback.
Dude, I don't even know anymore. The Vikings seem to, you get really good players in there, and then you just let them go. It's like, we don't need you anymore. Have a good day. Go enjoy your other teams. But they always do find that diamond in the rough. Who it's going to be, I don't know. I think we go after somebody in the draft, honestly. I would rather see that than continuing to sign some of these players who are past it,
Yeah.
The halfback position's a difficult one just because, like I said, your time frame in the NFL anymore is just not a long one. You're maybe 5 years, and then your career is pretty much on the back end. So, I don't know. I'll have to get back to that one.
Well, it looks like speaking of Vikings, former Viking linebacker Jordan Hicks is signing with the Cleveland Browns. I think Browns, obviously they showed they could be good last year, and I think they're going to Bigo this year, it all kind of depends on how well Deshaun Watson plays, which he showed he can. He was starting to kind of get unrusty, but he played injured. I don't know. Matt, there's been some talk of Jefferson not being with the Vikings next year. How much of a possibility do you think that is?
I think now that Cousins is gone, it's higher than the percentage went up. It's all going to come down to who the Vikings bring in, and I think Jefferson's going to give the opportunity for the Vikings to commit to either him or the team and show that they're going to bring in a winner. Because, as you know, everyone's goal ultimately is to win a championship. The NFL very rarely has players who are in it for the hometown team. They're going to go somewhere where they can feel they can win, and the Vikings window is pretty much closed. Like we said, I think we're almost to that point where we're going to have to tear down from the very beginning and build up again. Our best shot was the year, the Eagles ended up beating us off. We had the Minnesota Miracle, and we couldn't ride that emotion. We couldn't ride that just what should have been, and it would have been the first hometown team Super Bowl. But I don't know. I think the percentage is less now. I think he's going to be on his way out unless we do something drastic.
Yep.
And from what it looks like, we're going to pay him. That's a big money, and I don't know if I want that either. He's going to be demanding over $30 million. I mean, we're probably looking at $33 to $35 million per season in order to keep him. So that's a tough pill to swallow too. Again, some of these players don't realize in order to build a team around you got to leave some cap space, and you can't be too greedy. But I don't know. Again, we'll see.
Hey, Aaron Jones is a name. Maybe he wants to stick it to Green Bay, and I think he'd make a good running back option for you guys.
Oh, yeah, I'll take Aaron Jones in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think running back's an interesting position to watch. We'll see where Aaron Jones goes. Like I said, Derrick Henry's still on the market. Maybe he goes to Minnesota, though I do think he'll probably wind up in Dallas is kind of my guess. And then we'll watch quarterbacks. We still have a couple quarterbacks. I know everyone kind of picked Justin Fields to be the first one moved, and Bears not even taking a call yet. They're saying they want to be patient, but the real question is, do they want to be patient or do they want to trade the first overall pick? So we got some more questions. Unfortunately, my battery is starting to run low. But hey, luckily, guys, if you do want to catch more sports chat, I know it's a Monday today. Guess what? We're back tomorrow live again.
Yep.
Same time, 7 p.m. as usual. So join us because fantasy or free agency is still going on. And I think there's going to be a lot more moves tomorrow and then some more moves on Wednesday. So it's kind of our projection this week is to do all three. So, yeah, I think if you guys want to come in and join. Bobby, any predictions for tomorrow that you think are going to happen?
I know we need a wide receiver. We probably need some defensive guys maybe. The way I'm looking at it, I think Sutton's gone. We got to get picks for him. If we can get something, maybe third or fourth round pick, I say we pull it. Trade for him.
And Matt, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
Dude, I'm just reading breaking news out of Denver.
What's that?
The Broncos have signed a new quarterback. They just signed the Siberian Beast, Nikola Jokic. Holy cow, man. I'm like,
you see
this is the deal. This is the guy to save the Denver Broncos. Nikola Jokic.
You see the art? Holy crap. Yeah.
And he said he wants to wear number 18. So here we go.
Yep.
I don't see some of the trades that I think Bob said he sees. I think Broncos are going to hold on to Sutton until closer to the draft. That's when you might see a few other players moved. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be more of your trading pieces, though. People are going to start moving more players around, trying to free up some cap space. But I think those bigger name players are going to be held on to unless you get a really good deal. But I am looking forward to draft day because I think we're going to see a few trades. But we'll see. I mean, tomorrow's going to be some more key free agent signings. The Vikings are going to have to do something here. You can't sit back and watch unless you are already working a trade out with somebody, maybe say Chicago for Justin Fields or whatever. That would be a good way to stick it to the Bears. Come on to the purple and gold, baby.
I don't think the Bears will trade in division.
They'll be like, give us 5 first-round picks and we'll give you a Justin Fields. But I do see some more quarterbacks going off the board tomorrow. You can't sit idle watching as they're being snagged already before it even happens.
Yeah, I think considering how much we said his name, Sam Darnold, probably a name to watch for tomorrow. Jameis Winston's probably another one, even if it's not to any of the main teams that we're thinking. I did read there's multiple mutual interest between Ravens and Derrick Henry, so Cowboys might have some competition there. And then Jalen Reagor is going back to New England, who released Devontae Parker today. Eagles trying to get C.J. Gardner-Johnson back on the team. So, I don't know. I think Sam Darnold probably gets his name called tomorrow.
I'll be honest, probably.
I kind of want to say Derrick Henry, but he might be he might be Wednesday. We might have a couple more days. He might be filling out the situation. I'm trying to think who else. T. Higgins, I don't think we see him traded till the draft, so I think that's going to be a long one. I don't know who else. And hey, Seahawks, if you're listening, go get Justin Fields if the Bears really want to trade him, because I'm all in. I would be totally fine Justin Fields on Seattle. Brendan, do you have any predictions for tomorrow? We might have lost Brendan.
I think it was that 7-foot blizzard they were supposed to have in Kansas who finally just buried him.
Oh no, it finally arrived like 3 months too late. Well, yeah, guys, that's day one. Pretty interesting. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll probably go a little bit longer. Obviously, we'll go a little bit more in depth on some of these moves.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, I don't have my charging cable. My computer's at 16%, so
Yeah.
I left it at work because I'm trying to edit on my breaks. So that's my bad. Hey, speaking of Bears, though, look at this Walter Payton I wore for today.
Oh, beautiful jersey, baby. Beautiful.
Well, I felt like it brought good luck to the city of Chicago because you know what they announced today? They're going to probably build the stadium right south of Soldier Field. They're not going to Arlington Heights. It looks like there's some pushback and perhaps just the Bears trying to use Arlington Heights as leverage to get the new stadium, which seems like it has $2 billion funded. So big news there. They will be in Chicago still. I should say still in the actual downtown district. Some other news we saw today. Oh, yeah, Brandon's back. Some other news.
Dr. Pepper, though.
Brandon, is that Dr. Pepper?
Is
Or is that a rum and coke? Is it a rum and coke?
It's
You must know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Definitely not rum and coke on TV.
Well, you can drink it, just can't be in like a rum bottle. You can have it in a regular Coke bottle. Nobody will know.
Yeah,
Well,
we say
it's the new Coke Spice. Has a raspberry flavoring.
yeah. See, we save our alcohol for the draft day live stream. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that should be fun.
So, Brendan, any projections you think are going to happen tomorrow?
I don't know about projections, but I am excited to see some of my fantasy players where they end up. I didn't get to talk about the Kirk Cousins, but I do kind of like that trade. especially as a Kyle Pitts owner in fantasy. I feel like that if he stays in Atlanta, that does help boost him. I know that there was some trade rumors going on about him. I think that should help
came
him.
out with the trendy graphic showing Kyle Pitts right next to it.
So, wow. Yeah, I think they also had like Julio on their draft thing, or on their thing before they traded him, or Ridley before he got suspended. So, I never trust Atlanta.
Hey, Philadelphia already came out with their picture with Barkley. It looks like he's wearing 26.
Mm-hmm.
So, signed, sealed, and delivered. Other big news, we've been trying to give you this as we've heard about it. We'll be making it short too, so keep an eye. But the Legends Tower at Bricktown in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, is fully funded. So, what kind of seemed like a pipe dream of America's next tallest building to take the title from the building that paid off the CTBUH, Council of Tall Buildings Urban Habitat, which is the Freedom Tower, One World Trade Center in New York, paid them off to take the title from the Sears Tower. Might be losing its record here soon to Oklahoma City, so I'm all for that. Let's go. Let's build this thing. It's still got a long way. It's got to pass FAA approval and all that, but it's got kind of some of the harder parts done. So we might be taking a trip out for the grand opening, Brendan, in a couple of years.
A couple of years, damn, that's gonna go up fast.
Yeah, they don't take that long to build. Yeah. I'd say if it started now, late 2026, probably be done early 2027.
I guess I would have thought 2027 or 2029. So
yeah, they're pretty quick. I know. I mean, Dubai got some up in like a year. The Empire State Building was built in a year, so I guess it all depends. Plus, there's not a lot of other construction going on in Oklahoma City, so they can all kind of just converge down on one massively tall 1,900-foot building, which looks way out of place, and I'm all for it. It's kind of like how Taipei 101 in Taipei was all alone, 1,600-foot building, and now there's a couple other 250-meter buildings. So, Matt, you going to be joining us for our road trip to Oklahoma City in 3 years?
Sure. Why not? 3 years, you got it.
Hey, next year we might have a big trip to Stonehenge. We got a special invite, so who knows? You guys might be seeing us in Stonehenge come next year. So, yeah, that's our talk. Like I said, we're going to have to cut it a little short today. It's only going to be about just under an hour, just because I was bad and forgot my charging cable at work. But we'll be back tomorrow live, 7 p.m., to talk more free agency. And we'll also most likely be back Wednesday unless it's completely dead. So be joining us those 2 days. If you want to see more cool sports chat, click that link to your left for more here at Culz Paranormal, including what came out today, Matt? What came out today? What episode do they need to go check out to the right?
Oh, yes. Check it out. It is our burger episode number 3 from the IC Brew House right here in Castle Rock, Colorado. We'll tell you how we feel about it. I think most people might be shocked by our results, but check it out,
They might be shocked when they see the food fight mid-episode, so go check that out there.
We're supposed to tell them about that one.
Hashtag may not have happened. So,
I want to see a food fight.
Remember, might not have happened. Might just be clickbait. Who knows? Go check it out. But yeah, go check out our Best Burgers of Colorado IC Brew House. We're going to be getting back to filming some of those here shortly. So we'll start having some more contenders coming up. And we got a brand new suggestion for our time in Roswell. So we might have 4 places. We might have a fully booked hamburger rendezvous in Roswell. So stay tuned. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to hit that like, give us a subscribe, and tell us your predictions. Will Justin Jefferson, a Philadelphia Eagle? Tell us in the comments below.